Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Joseph. Sorry about the delay, but thank you so much for that. Actually took me a bit to find this movie to watch, but because I thought I saw it on YouTube, but it wasn't working correctly, for me at least. I don't know why. But thank you for the request, and for those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. But this is for Killing American Style. Some say 1988, some say 1990. And the director, I'm sitting there going, why does this director sound familiar? Amir Shervan. It's the guy that would later direct Samurai Cop. I don't know if I could say this is more competent than Samurai Cop. I will say Samurai Cop I thought was much more entertaining, much more funnier. Now, this one probably has more competent fights compared to Samurai Cop, where they're speeding up the footage, and Matt Hannon didn't know anything about fighting, but this guy knew a little bit about fighting. This guy, Harold Diamond, I mean, he's not great fighting, but he knew a little bit compared to Matt Hannon. It's still a really bad movie. It's a really terrible film, badly made. You just still laugh at this film as well. I'm just saying it's not as funny as Samurai Cop, but there's still entertainment to be had on a bad movie front. So, Robert Zadar, who would be the bad guy in that film, Samurai Cop, he's the bad guy in this as well, although in this one he's clean-shaven. So you see a lot more of his jaw, and why people would call him the Face, because he looked like a milk. If a milk dud melted, that's kind of what his jaw would look like. Just he looked like either people put makeup on him, or he was like a mannequin, and there's some melting. I mean, a melted. He looked his face melted. Sorry, no disrespect to Robert Zadar. He definitely looks better with some facial hair, like in Tango and Cash. I think he looked good in that film. Or being in Shadow like the Maniac Cop. I think he works better in those. But here, he's honestly the best actor in the movie. At least for what kind of movie he knows he's in. He's like playing up to it. So him and his cohorts are going to steal money from this ice cream truck depot. And actually, before I get into that, it's funny, the first scene we have is some women dancing and stripping. And this one guy, who his t-shirt is just way too tight for him, and his muscles are trying to break out of it. These women are stripping, and the guy's like, man, these women, they don't do what I want them to do. And I'm sitting there going, well, dude, because you haven't told them what you want. You just go ahead, and then you don't give them any direction. You don't give them any guidance. You don't tell them anything. But then you get past going, they don't do what I tell them to do. You didn't say anything, dude. You didn't say shit. Until this blonde, horny lady is finally shaking her ass more in your face, and then you two start making out somewhere, and Rob Zadar goes up to get the guy, because he needs it for this robbery, where there's an inside man, a guard, who helps him get in. And the acting is so bad. The direction, the editing. There are times where kind of randomly these up-close faces will be interjected into the film. When they're robbing the place, there's these guards who are not in on the tape. They're just doing their job. They hear noise, they hear gunshots, and one of them's like, "You are surrounded." Sometimes people get shot, but they obviously couldn't afford a lot of the squibs, so it's kind of either them falling or quickly cut, so you don't see much of the lack of effect on them from the gunshot. And when I talk about the editing, like there's a bit where the bad guys get away, And then a guard who's working with him is firing his gun in the air, and he turns, and then there's a guy going, and the guy's like, "Oh shit!" Kind of this "oh shit" face. Then cut to, he's at a police station, and a guy who obviously is dubbed going, "Sign this." Then cut to a chick with Robert Zadar, and the chick's getting naked with her titties out. Then cut to, boom, we're at, I guess, outside of his place, and a cop is asking the guard who I guess did sign this, "Are they behind there?" "Yes." And then you never see that guard again. And then what's funny is Robert Zadar is like, "What do you guys want from me?" And then he immediately shoots a guy. I wonder, you kind of answered your own question, Robert Zadar. You answered your own goddamn question. I didn't, "what do you guys want from me?" You answered your own question. And pretty quickly they arrest him. They're getting some of his cohorts. The one guy from the beginning whose shirt is too small for him. There's this other cop who looks like he's not even 20. He has this shitty looking mullet. It must be dubbed because his voice is a lot lower than it should be. And they're in this kind of diner where the guy's with other women. He hits the cop, runs, and then the next shot they're in, it looks like a completely different locale where like the back is empty. There's this weird sign thing in the back. There's empty chairs. I mean, where the fuck are we? Like, I didn't. It took me a minute to go, I guess we're in the same place. And then they have the cop go, "Okay, we got the guys. You are on the prison bus." And I did it because he stumbles his lines. Like, I don't know, the guy dubbing him. Like, in the middle, was like, he stumbles for a second, and they didn't do a take two. And then you never see that cop again. You see, there's going to be an important character, you never see him again. And I'm sitting there, well, who the fuck is the lead character? Is it Robert Zadar? Because then they're on a prison bus, and one of, we find out it was Robert Zadar's brother, his character's brother, is in drag, pretend to be a woman, that, "Oh my god, please help us." Which anybody with glasses or eyeballs would see this is a guy in drag, but apparently everybody on the prison bus, guard-wise, has to get out, and they get killed for their stupidity. One guard shoots the Robert Zadar's brother. The guard gets killed. This has some of the shittiest cops in the film. So ineffective, doing so many dumb things. They're like lemmings. They just look dumb as shit. Oh, and Jim Brown is in the movie. Rest in peace, Jim Brown. Sally, he's in this, and could not give a rat's ass. He's just reading his lines. He's kind of confused at why he's here. Sometimes talks on the phone. Doesn't really have much in terms of action. He's pretty much on a phone. There's a scene later on where he's trying to find Robert Zadar's mother who has information. And all these women, there's like a harem going up to Jim Brown saying stupid lines like, what the fuck were the lines? I'm trying to see if, oh, "I've got the hard stuff because I love it hard. I'm backwards because I love it in the back." What the fuck? I'm backwards because I love it in the back? So you're frontwards if you love it in the front? I love champagne and I'm full of bubbles. Lady, if you're full of bubbles, I don't want you. Because I don't want the dick to be like, I don't want a fucking bubble covering my dick. I come out as a bubble. Get the bubble off my dick. I don't want bubbles coming out of you. That'd be freaky. Can you imagine having sex? Each time you pump, a bubble pops up? That's gonna be a movie someday. Someone's gonna be like, she stuck a champagne bottle up her cooter, and then you pump, and each pump is another bubble, and another bubble, and then there's a wide shot, just bubbles. Your own fucking bubble bath. Without the tub. So Jim Brown's given nothing to do in this. Ultimately, Rob Zadar, the guy who's always about women and shirts too small for his muscles. Rob Zadar's brother who's hurt. This other guy that kind of acts like he's a kid. There's a point where later on he gets shot. And when he gets shot, I guess Rob Zadar's character is Tony. He's like, Tony! So ultimately they don't want to go to this motel because people are looking for him. So they go to this house. And the house happens to be this guy, Harold Diamond, who took his kid to this kickboxing thing. That's like this little kid didn't know shit about it. He has his hands like this. I could lift my foot better than this kid. And he could like barely lift his feet. And he's like this. And so this dad there wants to challenge our lead character. It gives him some cheap shots, but the lead guy said we'll get his head under his armpit and beat him up. And Harold Diamond is terrible. I wish for Matt Hannon. Matt Hannon was not a good actor in Samurai Cop, but he was more fun to watch in terms of his delivery. He's just more fun to watch. I would say he was more in the wheelhouse of this kind of bad film than this guy, Harold Diamond. So Harold Diamond, I guess, was a technically better fighter, although it's not really good fight moves anyway. But there's no speed of the camera needed for this. But Matt Hannon, I thought him and his partner was more fun to watch in a bad way than Harold Diamond was. I thought he was one of the weakest parts of the movie. I really do. I'm sitting there going, you got Jim Brown. Just let Jim Brown be the lead. And Jim Brown versus Robert Zadar. But no, we can't have that. I also find it funny that the Harold Diamond's kid, his mom and the aunt are there, and he calls his aunt Sexy Auntie. Do any of you call your aunt Sexy Auntie? I sure as hell don't. What the fuck's going on here? I also like the fact that when the bad guys approach the house, number one, they shoot a guy, and apparently no one heard the gunshot, even though it's the middle of nowhere. And believe me, I live in the middle of nowhere. A gunshot will echo, because there's people that will shoot like gators and stuff like that. You will hear the fucking gunshot. Trust me. But also, like, they come across the swimming pool, and Rob Zadar gets on this like brick perch, and he's like perching. Like he's a damn bird staring at the group until they notice, and then they go after them. So Rob Zadar's brother needs a doc. I like how he says, "Speak up, bitch." So they need to get Dr. Fuji. I'm like, Dr. Fuji for WWF? We need Mr. Fuji? He's a doctor now? That would have been great if it was the actual Mr. Fuji as Dr. Fuji, but it's not. And by this point, the Harold Diamond and his kid came back from the kickboxing thing, and they tell him, you need to go get this doctor. Move before your head goes flying off your neck. And that's around the time Jim Brown is looking for information, goes to that harem with those awful fucking lines of dialogue. And apparently Mr. Fuji, like, they make it seem like he's Japanese, but he looks Mexican. He looks Mexican. So, I'm sitting there, is he supposed to be, is he Asian? But with the way He looked Mexican. They get him there. It's also weird because the guy Harold Diamond goes up there and says, "Listen, I need your help," and I'll just call him Mr. Fuji. He's Dr. Fuji, but Mr. Fuji. He tells his wife, "Hey, I gotta help this guy. I'll be right back." As soon as they leave, apparently the wife called the cops about this van. If your husband just told you, "Yeah, I'm going to help this guy because someone was in an accident," why then would you call the cops right after? And then that's just to get this lame car chase where this cop, and I guess an undercover cop, who just kind of goes, "This, stop, stop." And then you get this lame car chase. Nothing to it. They get back. The guy's patching up the brother. At one point, he yells at Rob Zadar. Rob Zadar, like, slaps him, like, 6 times. "Fine, you go ahead and kill me." And then Rob Zadar does, and he just laughs. I said, Rob Zadar is trying. Like, he kind of knows what kind of movie he's in, and he's, like, having fun. Like I say, of this type of acting, he's actually the best part of the movie. He's the guy that's in on the joke, as I would put it. Oh, one funny bit is the lead guy just yells, "No more!" as it hits Rob Zadar. But then the guy, I forget his name, but he's got the, again, too small of a shirt and the muscles out. He hits our lead, but, okay. Imagine, I hit you with, okay, imagine this. You're this far away. Oh, I swear to God, that's the amount of distance. This guy hits the lead like this. Like, literally like this. Bah, bah, bah. Like this far away. Is it, I'm like, what? Jesus Christ. I'm laughing, at least there's that, but god damn, man. God damn. And like the lead guy's bleeding, and the kid like says a line, "You stupid moron, you killed my dad." And then for some reason, as the bad guys, they're gonna wait for Rob Zadar's mom and get a time where they're gonna go get the money that she has, and then later on he's gonna send the lead guy to go get that money. Why? I mean, whatever. In the middle of that, for some reason, with how goofy this movie is, the director decided to have a rape scene where the guy whose shirt is too tight and the mom is in the bathtub and he rapes her. Why? This film didn't need that. It really just felt out of place in this kind of movie. Granted, the director didn't know he was making such a goofy, shitty movie, but we do. So it just felt out of place, and it just felt unneeded, and... Well, it's just so that the mom could be freaked out, and then later, spoilers, well, I haven't been spoiling, she does shoot the guy in the dick. You don't see it, as in, you just see her shoot in the guy's facial reaction. So she does get a comeback on it, but you don't see anything, nothing graphic or gory or anything of the sort. So then he's supposed to get this money from Rob Zadar's mom, the lead guy. And for some reason there's this shot where also Jim Brown and his cops are around the motel because they found info about it. There's a shot of the motel, and in the top right, it's photographed so badly that the sky is green. I shit you not, there's a shot of the motel where the goddamn part of the sky and the top right is green. Terrible. It must have been like, I'm guessing when they filmed it, they damaged the print on it, and they couldn't fix it, and that's why it looks so awful. I would just go, don't have it in the movie, but hey, it's Amir Shervan. He knows better, right? So he has to fight some undercover cops, Harold Diamond. He gets the money, he comes back, hides the money, lies and says, "Oh, I wasn't there." Why you instantly believe him, and oh, he has this thing. Like, still, why do you instantly believe him? Like, he could be lying. He's been trying to fuck you over from the beginning, trying to fight one guy, trying to fight another guy. People just take his word for it. And then that's when ultimately the one guy gets shot and goes, Tony! Someone who knew Rob Zadar, they just get there with his men, just to have more on the body count. And it's just really blasé, boring gunfights. Nothing to it. There's one shot, I forget which one, where this side of the screen, you tell that there's something there. Like, on the edge of the screen, you tell there's something there that's black. Now, I don't know if that was part of some kind of camera equipment, but you just, like, I don't know how to put it. Okay, it's like, it's leaking out on the side. And I'm trying to get, like, this edge. Imagine, like, this edge. Yeah, imagine, like, that edge, but it's, like, black, like, leaking out. Great filmmaking. I guess the fight scenes, like I said, are probably a bit more competent because, like I said, there's no speed up the film, but they're still not good at all. Very boring gunfights. Jim Brown gets there, does nothing. Cops get there, do nothing. Harold Diamond and Rob Zadar decide to throw their guns away and have a fight. Ultimately, Rob Zadar gets beaten up. Him and Jim Brown shoot Rob Zadar. You have this really bad dialogue where apparently one of the people who were killed on the land was this kid's dad. And Harold Diamond gets the money and gives the kid, here, this'll... It's such badly acted, and there's like bad up close shots of the mom going, like wiping her tears. Just it's laughable. Now, I would think the cops would want to go looking for that money, or even other bad guys might look for that money, but apparently not. So it is what it is. So with that said. Just a badly done movie. From the director of Samurai Cop. I mean, that's really what it is to it. As I'm fucking with this. It's the director of Samurai Cop. That tells you everything. It tells you every fucking thing you need to know about this. And sorry that I'm doing this in the middle of it, but this is more exciting than this movie. It's not a good movie, in the slightest. It's piss poorly done in every fashion, every state. I mean, what more can be said about this fucking movie, man? I guess if you diehard fan of Samurai Cop and you want to see the other director's work, be my guest. Or you're a diehard fan of Rob Zadar, you go ahead and see it. Other than that, there's not much else to say about this movie. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.